over the last couple of months, my thinking had been, what can Nigeria and maybe Africa learn from the evolving, issues? The first thing was the late entry of Kamala Harris, which was obvious, a strategy that the Democrats found like a last straw that they just grabbed onto just to move forward. And people were wondering if Kamala Harris was actually the very best candidate that they had to push forward at that particular time, especially going back and knowing that there was a Trump female, in the first term, where you have the wife of the former
Clinton.
President Hillary Clinton against Trump at that time, and who was a senator and all of that. And then you're bringing another woman, and this woman was coming with a lot of baggages. You have the race baggage, you have the skin color, you have the
gender baggage?
Gender issues, you have what was going on in the world, just like we were thinking
everywhere,
the insecurity everywhere. So is it the time for America to be led by a woman? And if you look at the large trunk of people that are Trump's primary supporters, these are the people who would rather do the support for the alpha men, and they do not see anything positive about the time for America to show the world that gender is genuinely something that you can sell at this point. And if it were maybe a white American lady, perhaps that will have a bit more convincing. So it was like they were not just crossing the lines to show the world that gender was actually neutral, but that this particular gender is coming from mixed races that they themselves have struggled to accept, and then the color just did not meet their expectations. So I was seeing that as something we could learn from. Just the same way we look at people here and would say this is Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, Efik, and minority tribes, and then we wonder what time we're going to give them. We still have all those battles as we speak today. The other thing that curious to me is also how someone could be so vilified, just like Dr. O'Malley said. How do you see that in Africa? If you were pushing a particular candidate and hammering that candidate left, right, and center, we saw that with the current president. We saw a whole lot of cans of worms that were thrown at him. But like he said, it just makes the candidates a lot more popular, makes that candidate is in the face of them. So I think politicians need to learn that and begin now to look at issues, begin now to look at how do you prove that this candidate is good for the people, such that the people are more, enlightened, are more pushed to think that this candidate is the candidate that we want, rather than this candidate is the candidate that we should not have in position. And that would be a lesson for Africa, because all the time we keep thinking that by, splashing muds and mudslinging, as they call it, then, we will get the candidates in a position that people will reject.
An excellent point you have raised.
More issues oriented.
A lot more issues oriented than the personality of the people. A few days we saw, in front of Trump Tower, some caricature of Trump and, a lady in front of in a very compromising position. That was just 2 days to the elections. Anyway, so you can imagine all kinds of things that they did.